I think I heard Guile say yes.
He did.
I did.
So, when we last left the party, they were all settling down in seemingly a kind of underground burrow made to house some of the guests and residents of the Silver Spear Glades. In the room that is low lit by small bioluminescent flowers giving off a kind of mixture of pale white and green light that run up essentially what would be the spine of the room. It's just a long trail running from the door all the way across the roof to the very back wall. And it gives enough illumination. It's dim light throughout the whole room as the party begins to settle down for the evening. Lola is sleeping soundly in the corner. Is anyone going to do anything before they go to sleep?
No, I think I'm good.
I used mending before we ended this last time, and do I get it back after the sleep?
Yes, you get all your spells back after
Okay.
a long rest.
Then
Isn't mending a cantrip?
It's
I
a
think so.
cantrip. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you can use cantrips as many times as you want.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You could use a million mendings if you really want to.
Roger.
It
Then I will
did,
do nothing.
Did Arari take all of my books?
Arari took the journals, and let me see.
I had 5 books in total.
Okay. Yeah, you gave all the books to Arari. I don't think you hung on to any of them.
Okay.
I'd have to go back through the video that Joe took last session
You're
to know for
fine.
certain, but I think so.
Yes.
Well, you couldn't read any of them, so what good were they to you?
I don't know. I
Kindling.
never tried reading any of them.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, I did.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, this is beside the point. So everyone settles down for the evening. You have very peaceful rest. It is calm. There are few sounds that permeate through the branches and the boughs that form this room, and you all have a very peaceful and relaxing night's rest. Waking in the morning, some people having a big stretch, a yawn. And I forget what the order of people that were sleeping, but I think Morris, weren't you taking one of the beds beside Lola?
Yeah, I think it was near the door, right?
Yes. Well, Lola was right beside the door, and you took the bed adjacent to her.
Yeah, something like that.
So as you get up, you notice that Lola is not in the room.
Uh-oh. I don my great axe and hustle out.
All right. So as the rest of you are beginning to rouse yourself from sleep, you can hear the rustling of equipment as Big Mo, the large and muscular humanoid, gets himself up and out of bed, straps his weapons onto him, and heads out the door.
I've only got my great axe. They still have the other ones at the guard station.
No, you got your weapons back.
All of them?
Yep, they gave you all your
Yep.
weapons back.
Huh.
I think we grabbed them for you.
I remember my great axe was grabbed. I don't think anything else was. Anyway.
So as you head out of the building and you begin to look around, you see the same collection of activity that you witnessed the last time you were here. You see the increased presence of the Gladeborn soldiers in their masks and armor. You also notice that that kind of green, slightly sparkling field is still present when you look up through the gaps in the leaves of the trees, and you still see this pale kind of green light that's just seemingly surrounding the village. And I'm assuming you're looking for Lola, or did you have some other?
Yes.
Okay, make a perception check.
Pew, 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 pew. I can find it.
Okay.
Big roll.
I rolled the wrong dice. Give me a second. There we go, that's the right one. So as you are taking a look around, you do spot Lola. And she is actually has her hand in the hand of a rather short, stout figure, wearing wearing a simple white robe, and clutching in the hand that is not currently holding Lola's hand is a small basket of what appears to be bread and fruit and just a few other assorted food items. And they're only a little ways down the path. You get the feeling that you must have just missed these people.
I'll casually walk behind them, but not too close, but far enough that they don't see me.
Make a stealth check.
I said casually walked. Walking.
Trying to keep it casual.
Yeah, making it look like I wasn't looking for anyone.
Just out for a stroll.
With a great axe.
I'll start heading towards the guard station to pick up the rest of my items, which I may or may not have.
Okay. You have your items. So, as you are following behind the two of them, they seem completely oblivious to your presence. And you hear just some small muttered conversation. Lola occasionally points something out, and the woman seems to kind of stoop low and whisper a few things to her. And you do manage to catch a glimpse of this woman. And she is pretty fucking ugly. She's got, like, age spots all over her. She's got, like a really big, knobbly nose with, like, a wart.
What, like a hag?
No, she just, like, she looks like a regular woman. She's just ugly.
Oh, okay.
She's just an ugly woman.
Like
and
a
she's,
hag?
like, she's fucking old. Well, she's not as ugly as a hag, no. But
He's a foster mom.
she looks like somebody's grandma that got, like, preserved in vinegar, like pickled for way too long. It's like a pickled grandma.
Sounds dangerous.
Sounds kind of gross, actually.
She's pretty gross looking.
Ugh.
But from what you can gather of Lola's reaction, she seems quite happy to be strolling about, and every so often she takes a piece of food from the basket, or like an apple, or a hunk of bread, or a small piece of cheese. And the two continue their stroll around basically around the village itself, not seeming to be particularly interested in going any one place. Is anybody doing anything while this is going on, by the way?
In the inn, or in the where we're sleeping?
Yeah, in the little burrow. Like what you guys saw as you were waking up is you saw Morris ready himself and then leave.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like rest a little bit more.
All right, sleeping in.
Not rethinking the previous near look that I
You were
had of my
reflecting
mom.
upon your experience.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, I don't do anything because these guys aren't worried about a giant guy with an axe running out of the house.
Well,
Hastily.
you've got plenty of confidence in the ability of the Gladeborn to defend anyone within the village from
okay,
a single
yeah.
guy.
I go back
You're
to bed.
confident in that.
Yeah.
Is that a challenge?
And so ends Morris. Okay.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna head out and take a look around as well.
All right. So Mendardus, you finish rousing yourself and delayed only a little bit trying to find wherever your cat happens to have squirreled away. It's squirreled itself away, and you happen to find it just curled up underneath one corner of your bed, just in a little ball, seemingly not really keen to get moving, but it responds to your commands, and the two of you get everything ready, and you head out the door. The morning light is bright, filtering through all of the leaves, creating a cascade of various greens and grays and bright patches of light where beams actually break down and hit the surface of the stone walkways. And it's just, you've lived here your whole life, but you still happen to take moments every now and then to appreciate the beauty and the harmony of these structures and the way they integrate so well with nature.
Can I head over to like the guardhouse or wherever like the chain of command kind of is headquartered?
Yes. So you are, as you're looking at the Silver Spear Glade here map here. So you are heading this way. So you find yourself wandering down some of the pathways, and you arrive at something that is in stark contrast to some of the other buildings, whereas these structures seem to be made to specifically work with the landscape, work with the environment and the flora around them in order to not compete. There is one structure that is distinct from all the others, and it actually sits within one of the rivers that border the village itself. And it stands on its own spire, its own constructed stone brick spire that comes up out of the river itself. And where you see like the grass and where the land is itself, you realize that the entire surface has been surrounded by these stones. And then another structure comes up off of that. It's somewhat like a tower rising maybe 30 to 40 feet in height. And there are many vertical windows along the smooth cylindrical surface that forms this tower that you get the idea are probably meant to be positions for archers if they have to defend this place. And it certainly seems like the most fortified building in the village. It actually almost stands as contrast where a lot of other things are very open and very harmonious and peaceful looking. This stands out as something that is meant to withstand what is thrown at it. You see two individuals that are standing by a door at the base of this tower. And they see you approach. There's about 12 feet of river between you and the edge of this construct. Man-made island, that's the word I'm looking for.
There's like a bridge or something across?
There is no bridge, but upon seeing you arrive, one of the guards steps forward and pulls his bow out from underneath his cloak, and part of the top of it seems to actually peer out from underneath the cloak. It looks exactly the same as your bow.
I approach him. I continue to approach.
All right. Well, you walk right up to the edge of where the land stops and becomes the rock face that drops down about 15 or so feet to the river itself, which is flowing relatively swiftly. The guard holds up one hand and requests your name.
Mendartis Nalo.
He turns to his companion, and the two of them look at each other. And the second guard, with a nod, disappears into the structure, opening the door, which appears to be solid stone, but as soon as this guard puts his hand to it, a vertical cut appears in the door. And he pushes it open easily, and then walks in, the door shutting behind him, and that cracked ceiling behind the guard. He emerges a few moments later with a letter in his hand, exchanges a few words with the guard who initially told you to stop, and they, with a wave of one hand and a muttering of an incantation, which you're pretty far away, so you can't really hear, tree roots begin to burst forth out of the ground at your feet, and they surge forward, intertwining and forming a living bridge that was not there moments ago. And it springs forward and actually reaches out, connecting to that piece of land. And there is now a tree bridge across the river in front of you.
I start to cross it.
As you reach the other side, the same guard who initially held up his hand is standing in front of you. He has a letter in his hand.
I say, is that for me?
This is from you. You sent this letter from Mason's Rest some time ago. You
Yes.
had encounters with one of our quarry.
I have. I believe we have tracked it down and killed it, though.
You've slain it.
I believe so.
Many have come to us with proof that they have slain this creature, only to be proven wrong time and time again. What evidence do you have that this is in fact the creature we are looking for, this shapeshifter?
Aside from the word of me and my companions, I don't think I have anything concrete.
Perhaps you should come inside. He tucks the letter away inside the breast of his armor, and the guard who initially disappeared inside once again puts his hand to the door, the vertical cut appearing in the stone, and pushes it open. You cannot see much beyond what's inside. The sun is bright out here because there's very little trees covering it, and you can't make out what's inside from here. There's too much light in your eye.
Well, I head on in.
All right. You enter the structure. Now, we'll come back to you shortly. Morris, you have been following Lola and this woman around for, well, the better part of 20 minutes now. And their behavior does not seem to have changed too much. Lola seems to be enjoying herself, and this old lady seems to be enjoying having someone to focus her attention on. As you go about, she kind of nods politely in the direction of other people that the two of them encounter, and Lola begins kind of mimicking her movements, and occasionally eliciting a bit of giggling and laughter from the two of them.
In that case, I feel fine. I'm gonna go find a place to buy ale.
Okay, then you can head to the promenade where there would be... Oh, it was a big burp, sorry. So you can head towards the promenade where there are a myriad of different stores, and you can potentially find something to drink.
I'll do.
Can I do something?
Certainly.
I would like to go to where I grew up.
Okay.
I don't know how far away that is, but I believe it's in here, so...
Oh, it's in this village. Okay, so... Theon, you leave the residence, leaving behind Urun and Honos. Not saying where you're going, you simply head out. The visions of what you saw in the Silver Mirror are still very, very fresh in your mind. And with the renewed drive to try and find where your mother is being held captive, and you know she is a captive now. But at least you know that she's alive. And that brings you some comfort as you weave in and amongst the pathways, stopping at a simple but elegant home. Much like some of the other houses in the glades, it seems to be integrating a structure, like a built man-made structure, with some of the nearby trees and foliage that actually seem to blend very, very effectively. And your home stands at the center of three particularly large silver-barked trees. The junctions between them, so yeah, let me just draw this out.
force.
Okay, so that's roughly what it looks like. The three canopies then kind of melding together to form what would be the roof of essentially is a three-floored kind of cylindrical house. As you step inside, the door is locked. Or as you step towards the door, it is locked behind you.
It locks behind me, or it is locked?
No, it's locked. You can't get in.
Don't have a key or anything like that?
You don't have a key, but you do remember that there is one that you always used to keep hidden around here.
Yes.
Make an investigation check. This is something that you specifically hid. You know exactly where it is. And you move around to the back of your house, and there is one root of one of the trees that is slightly bowed, where there's a very, very small gap between the bottom of the root and the actual earth beneath it. And you thrust your hand underneath that into what is actually a hollowed out portion of the root, and you obtain from its hiding place a key.
It's a good roll.
That is a good roll.
Yeah, is today the day that I actually get good rolls?
Check decent rolls. You move around to the front of your house, you unlock the door, and as it creaks open, you are immediately hit with a sense of nostalgia, the familiar smell, and all the familiar sights. The kitchen as it stands, the living area, everything is almost exactly as how you remember it. And it brings a very warm sense to your heart, with a very slight hint of bittersweetness, knowing that it's empty in here. And it's very rare that you came home and it was empty.
I would like to look around to see if there's possibly any signs of my mom and planning on a departure, or any kinds of struggle, or anything that she may have left behind that I could use.
All right. As you explore the kitchen, living area, and the study that your mother usually occupies if she's not in one of the other two areas, you aren't able to find anything that seems to indicate that she planned on going anywhere. You do find a letter that she had actually sent and received back from one of the druids, the senior-most druid in the glade in this village. And it's describing a recurring dream that she has in which she hears raspy laughter and the rattling of chains. And it's eerily reminiscent of some of the description of these sounds is very vivid, and you get the sense that she's had this dream enough that she can recall a lot of details from it. And it certainly seems to match up with some of the things that you saw in the mirror. As you are moving around through some of the rooms, the only one that is different or in any state of disarray is the door to, or sorry, not the door, your mother's bedroom, because the window is smashed in, the room is in disarray, and it shows signs of a struggle. There is a broken vase that has hints of crimson on it. The mattress is just torn to shreds, and many of the drawers and other storage containers in the area have just been thrown open. The room is just a mess.
Huh.
Make another investigation check.
Yes.
So as you search around the room, you pick up some of the shards of the broken vase, and you The scent that comes off of them is of old blood, but it doesn't smell like elven blood. And in your experience, it smells more like that of lizard folk blood. And you gather that based on the kind of layers of dust that happen to be around everything else in the building, that nobody else has been in here since the apparent abduction of your mother some time ago. And you recall one of the druids saying that she had disappeared about 2 weeks before your arrival. As you are looking around and investigating things, searching around the headboard of your mother's bed, you come across a small box. Only about maybe 4 inches by 4 inches. It's made of dark, kind of cherry wood, so it's got a reddish hue. Very, very finely veneered. It's a very nice box. As you open it up, I'm assuming that's what you do?
Yes.
Okay. So you open up the box, and on the inside of the lid, as you open it up, is a very well-drawn portrait of a human male. Handsome-looking guy, strong jawline, bit of facial hair. Seems quite well kept, and he's just got this beaming smile, looking at whoever has been drawing this. But
have I ever seen this before?
You've seen this before. This is your father.
Ooh.
You've never seen this drawing before, but you've seen other drawings of him, and it's exactly his description. Also sitting in the box is a small lock of hair, a leaf of mint, and a strange... It's not a medallion, but it's an emblem that someone would probably hang from a loop of... So either as a necklace or like a bracelet or something like that. And it is an octagon. And one of the corners of the octagon has a small circle around it. And in the center of this octagon, which would normally be hollow, is suspended by small branches from the top, bottom, left, and right faces of this octagon. There's a small piece of metal connecting a very well-cut crystal that sits in the very center of this octagon.
I'm definitely going to take that memory. Do I know what the...
You have no idea what it is. You've never seen these objects before. This appears to be something that your mother kept private. But so you take the crystal, the little emblem.
Yes, that's
okay. And then nothing else?
Nothing else.
Okay, so you close the box and you return it back to where it was. Taking one last look at the room and then leave, I'm assuming?
Do I recall any, like, trying to think of it. Secret hatches, like a little storage area, maybe any potions or anything that kept in case of emergencies?
You take a look at your mother's medicine cabinet, and aside from a few healing herbs that, from somebody that may have more experience dealing with herbs than you do, that they might be able to fashion this into something, but you don't have the skills to make that happen.
I'll leave him there.
Okay. All right, and then you leave the building?
Yes, I'm going to leave.
All right. Taking one last look at the ruined room around you, you take a few moments to straighten a few things up as best you can. Take a deep breath.
I lock the door behind me and I say a couple words in Elvish, basically saying that I will return.
All right.
I'll miss you.
Okay, Mindardus. So you enter through the doorway that seems to block a lot of light from looking in, and as you pass into the building, you seem to walk through what feels like sweltering heat or like just very, very warm and humid air. but it is very transient, very brief. You just pass through it momentarily. The two guards around you seem to stop for a moment and look at the space that is kind of in your immediate vicinity. They don't look directly at you, they look at your immediate vicinity. And off of the glint of their masks, you can see a kind of glow of light that very briefly radiates off of you and then fades away as you pass through this sensation.
I asked them, what was that?
They tell you that it was a detection for good and evil, and it is a ward that is placed around this building, similar to the detection ward that now surrounds the entire village. They lead you through some of the corridors, and this building is deceptively large. Like, it doesn't look that big from outside, but there is clearly some kind of magical element to the building that allows it to take up more space than it does outside.
TARDIS.
You see, yeah, you think of it kind of like a TARDIS. It's smaller on the outside, and you notice staircases that seem to descend, ones that go upstairs, and then there is a single spiraling staircase that leads up into a floor that is about 12 to 15 feet above you. You are led there by the two guards, who then, one stepping in front of you, one staying behind you, lead you up this staircase. They take you to an office that is at the top of these stairs. They knock loudly on the door, and the door itself opens. It's almost kind of like a rounded triangle, or more like a teardrop with the bottom curve kind of cut off. And as the door opens, everything made of very, very fine wood. It doesn't even creak as it swings open. And inside is a simple but well-furnished office. There is a soft rug, and sitting at a desk looking amongst a slew of papers is an elf that is starting to show signs of his age. And he appears to be looking through reports, and he issues orders to one other person that happens to be in the room. This person then nods their head, giving no response to the order that is issued, which is as simple as ensure the village remains secure. That's all you gather from the orders that are given. And this person then turns on a heel and marches out of the room in a very military-like fashion. You notice that the guards that brought you up here, the masks that they wear have a green and gold motif. The mask of the individual that walks by you is pure silver. And as he turns and leaves, despite the fact that that individual's mask is silver, it has the same design of overlapping leaves. But as he turns and leaves, there is a bust or a stone kind of headpiece that rests upon it a very, very ornate hood and helmet that seem to be made of almost like long feathers made of gold and black, and it forms the visage of an owl. And it simply sits on a bust that is off to the side of this person's desk. He beckons you forward and points to a seat that is across from him.
I sit down.
He bids you welcome.
Welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
He tells you that he is known to people outside this building as Mjol Hadrian. And you recognize the name as one you were told to contact if you encountered anything to do with the doppelganger that is being hunted by the Gladeborn. And the two of you exchange some words, and after you tell him that you believe you slew this creature, he corrects you and tells you that the creature that you slew was known about, but is not the one that they are hunting. He continues and basically just fills in some of the blanks in the story that you tell him. And he listens very eagerly to your description of the hag and everything that that you encountered in your experience in the forest, but tells you that he believes that this creature is still present and hiding within one of the cities on this island, and asks if you would be willing to lend your strength in hunting down this creature.
Of course.
He has no observable reaction as you say, of course, and the tone in his voice drops a little. Understand that this is no simple task that I request of you. The allies that you fought this hag with, I think, will be necessary in ensuring you secure this creature. It is elusive and it is old, older than we have thought. It knows much about the history of this island and has impersonated anyone it sees. If it has seen you, you may find yourself hunting a very familiar face.
It's a man.
If you wish to aid us, we have a more pressing matter. From the reports
lizard?
that I have received, and he runs his hand over top of several pieces of paper that adorn his desk. Were you going to say anything?
No, I'll let him continue.
All right. We cannot continue our hunt for this creature while this village is under threat. If you truly wish to be of aid to our organization, we need you to help us resolve the threat to this village. From what I understand, there are potentially hundreds of lizard folk that have been building an army to come and destroy this town. We are very capable of defending the borders of this village, but not against a prolonged siege. We believe that something has incited these creatures to violence. From what our scouts and spies tell us, that some time ago, a few years, leadership of the lizard folk has been seized by a much more violent example of their kind, a rarity. These creatures have always been unfriendly, but never openly hostile before. Their behavior, these abductions, this is very unlike them. And we believe it is related to this new leader of theirs. But the nature of these attacks, the organization of their forces, it is something beyond their capabilities. Something must be guiding them. But these creatures, they respect only strength. They do not listen to outsiders easily. Something must have pressed this new leader into its service. We believe that by removing, and he emphasizes the word removing with a kind of haughtiness or almost like an arrogance, as in he knows what he's really asking when he says remove, but he's going to say remove for the time being because it sounds nicer. If this leader is removed, then we think this influence will show itself, or at the very least the aggressive nature of the lizard folk will be calmed, and their original leadership can reestablish itself.
So you're asking me and my companions to infiltrate their base or something?
They do in fact have a lair. It is a network of twisted and gnarled trees, more like a labyrinth. And those that are foolish and unwary in their attempts to explore it find themselves the victims of its denizens. More than just lizard folk live there. But they now patrol its borders more actively. They now cultivate creatures that they will use to defend it. But all of this speaks to some higher level of organization. What I ask of you is not some simple assassination. I have 2 missing people. They were sent to ensure that the river gate has been constructed as it should be, further downriver from our village. They should have returned and have not, and I am concerned for their safety. It is not far from the village, a few hours' march along the coast. Stick to the left when you reach the fork. If you learn anything as to what may be influencing these creatures, do your best to learn as much as possible. Bring evidence to us, if possible, of this outside interference. Do this, and I will consider your recruitment passed, and you will earn the rank of Talon amongst the Gladeborn. We will teach you how to use that implement, and he points to your bow, more effectively. Do you accept this?
I do.
Very well. He stands up, putting his hands on his desk, multiple desks, yeah. Return to me when you have accomplished this task, and I will award you your title, and all that comes with it. You will be one of us.
This guy just signed us up for a bunch of shit.
The commanding officer then beckons to one of the guards that was standing outside. If there is nothing else, he will lead you back to your friends.
That is all.
Thank you. He nods his head and sits back down at his desk, and you are led out of the building. As you are descending the stairs and on the way out, you catch a glimpse down to what appears to be a kind of archery range or target practice, and you see individuals that are not wearing any kind of masks or adornments of the Gladeborn, and they appear to be practicing with the weapon that you have. Not doing quite as well as you do, but when they are instructed by someone who is more senior than them, he appears to have an unnatural ability to track moving targets, leading to many astonished gasps from some of the onlookers and recruits, as he's able to just pin targets that none of them could have dreamed of hitting. Before you are quickly shuffled off towards the front gates and once again thrust out into the daylight.
Okay, I'll make my way back to where I last saw everyone else.
All right. I really need to take a leak, so I'm going to go do that.
Your time.